is it expensive to install an energy management system?
Okay, so that's a very good question, and many hotels obviously are always asking that question. Now, what you actually need to look at is not the actual expense itself, but the return on investment. That is the key for any hotel decision to decide. So there's no such thing as expensive. It's basically return on investment. What we generally find is that from basic energy management systems, and then that'll depend obviously on the cost of power, the cost of energy hotel is paying, the climate conditions of the hotel or where are they located. That generally the return on investment we look at is around 2 to 4 years. Now, 2 to 4 years is actually very, very good investment or return on investment, where you would invest in something, you would reduce your energy expenses, and the reduction in energy expenses would then actually pay for the equipment itself, and you would get your money back in 2 years. We've had a situation in an extreme situation where a hotel was paying very, very high cost of power. They were in a regional town. They were in extreme climate condition, very hot conditions, and they were using very, very high energy consuming aircon systems, which were consuming a lot of power. When they implemented the ecosystem solution, and they basically reduced, in that particular hotel, they reduced their, they couldn't switch things off because they were in a hot environment. But what they did is they basically reduced their setbacks. Guests were leaving rooms on at 21, 22 degrees, and they basically increased that to like 23 or 24 degrees. So they kept their rooms, when the guest was out of the rooms were kept at around 23, 24 degrees. And just that 2-degree difference in the cooling side of things, because they were in an extreme climate condition and paying a very high cost of power, they actually got their money back in 6 months.
Wow.
Okay. So in that case, that's sort of an ideal situation. But not all hotels are in the luxury position of having such high cost of power and such extreme climate conditions. So that's why we say on average we say it's about 2 to 4 years, and that will depend on the various factors. So to answer your question, you should ask the hotels: is it reasonable to get a 2 to 4 year return on investment, and not is it expensive? What we also found is that there are other types of systems which are much more expensive, but the actual reduction in savings doesn't change. So sometimes it's better off for a hotel to go for a basic energy management system without the fancy bells and whistles. As long as they achieve the reduction in energy costs, that'll give them the best bang for their buck by reducing the energy costs with a minimum investment, maximizing their return on investment.
That makes sense. That makes sense. It's just like a car.
Absolutely.
It's still going to get you from point A to point B, and it's going to use the same amount of petrol. So, that makes sense. I heard somewhere too, Duron, that for every degree that you can reduce the HVAC, there's about a 10% saving. So as you said, taking it from 21 in that example up to 23, makes a 20% saving in energy. So quite significant.
Yes, absolutely. Yes, absolutely. Our general rule of thumb is that by having an energy management system in place, if a hotel has not had an energy management system in place before, you pretty much can reduce your HVAC. And again, we focus on HVAC because that's the main power consumption of any hotel, anywhere between 30 to 50% in reduction of cost, and that equates to anywhere between 10 and 30% reduction in your HVAC energy consumption.